We have 500 wheat-eating goats have arrived. Goats fertilize, kill, and remove and control the noxious weeds.
Okay, not that. I mean, that's a really visual story, but the same thing can apply to any story you do. Steady video is good. Shaky video is not good. And you know, your wide, medium, tight, is it in focus? Are your pictures telling a story? Yes, maybe, no, maybe. I mean, those are questions you gotta ask yourself.
Water was still dripping. Work started to dry things out. Water flows easily down, and it went from the second to the first floor. No one reflected long on a decision to cancel for the day.
That's a quick sequence there, right? I mean, you've got a kind of a medium shot here. You've got the tight. He started with the tight shot, mopping up, and then he went a little wide, so you know what's going on. And then he kind of, whoever it was, had a nice reflective shot, kind of something a little bit creative that gets him out. So it's like a 3-shot sequence. I mean, there's little sequences all over the place. You just there's things that happen. You think, okay, what story am I telling, and then how do I get it? Can I take control, or is it a factory? Or maybe, you know, there are times when you can't sequence. I mean, the suspect coming into the jail from the police car. You know, it's a 10-second shot, and you know, you're right there. You just got to follow them. You know, you don't worry about a sequence and those kind of things. You just get the picture. It's how am I going to write something that will tell a story to the pictures I've gotten, or how do I get the pictures to tell my story? And that, you know, it's kind of a mindset issue. Instead of, you know, coming back and logging your sound bites and then writing to the sound bites, you write to the pictures and sort of let the sound take care of itself. I mean, the sound bites, you're talking about the same thing. Sound bites seem to me always to fall into place. Maybe you think of something really amazing that he said and write to that, but you know, in a lot of cases, you know, you tell a story and you can just kind of pick anything he says and drop it in and take a couple of lines of your script out, and there's your sound bite. I mean, it's the pictures that matter. This is a test you can always tell for yourself is watch a story with the sound down. What's it about?
When I was working here before World War II, they ran 3 and sometimes 4 changes of pictures per week. Adding all that up over 50-some years, well, there's quite a few pictures I've put on the screen. There
were words in there at one time. I mean, you know, but you could run that by itself. There's enough sound going on there. There's enough, you know, you have nice shots of the guy's face. There's all kinds of things happening with film. I mean, sometimes, you know, you have such a rich environment for pictures. It's great to, you know, just, wow, this is happening. And if it's happening too quick, you can slow it down. Or you can say, sorry, I want to get that. What did you just say? Or they say, sorry, I was over here, I didn't hear. And, you know, have them, whoever it is, do it again. Or say, wow, I didn't get that. Let me get that again. Let me move in and get a shot of that. That's really cool. And I tend to be a very enthusiastic photographer to my subjects, because I want them to be involved in what I'm doing. I want them to think like, wow, I'm gonna really help him tell a really good story. And so they're sort of invested in the story too. And in some cases that you never get that, but it's really nice sometimes to have somebody go, okay, well, at least, you know, I don't really want to do the story, but at least I know this person is going to do the best they can, or it looks like they're doing the best they can to put me in a decent light and not make me look old or fat or, you know. I mean, I think eventually they appreciate that. You know, they go, wow, this person is really working hard to light me up and make me look good, or to really do a good job. And I think they feed off that conscientiousness on your part. They see you're working hard and go, okay, as opposed to somebody just standing here, you know, and shooting like this, zoom in, get a shot, zoom out, get a cutaway. You know, you got it? Yeah, I got it. You know, yeah, sure. I'm done.
Locked away in the halls of the Pioneers Museum are the artifacts and relics that tell the tale of our city's frontier past.
Okay, pictures on a wall, artifacts in shelf. There's no handheld there. If it's not moving, then you shouldn't be either. That's kind of my rule. I mean, if it's a diploma from a doctor's office, you either better freeze the frame or shoot it from a tripod so that it's locked down steady. In a museum, You know, there's not a lot. The guy most of the time is not going to be taking things out of the case and holding them and fondling them and letting you touch them. They're really kind of strange about that. So that's all he has. So he has, if it's not moving, he's on a tripod, and then he has a, you know, and the interview also on the tripod, kind of nicely framed.
Community has to understand.
That's a, you know, he's got a wireless mic on, and he's sort of framed wide. You can kind of see things. There's no light there. I've had to put up a light, but you know, I can see his face, and he's kind of, you know, you can kind of see things around him. Sometimes I think with interviews we think, okay, it's just got to be here.
Yeah, we're taught
and
that.
up.
Yeah.
And
So
there's a place for that. But I think sometimes as you grow as photographers, you think, well, you know, it would be neat to frame him this way. You know, put him back a ways and have something else in the picture. And a wireless microphone lets you do that. You know, the first thing I do, usually when I go to a shot, or go to something, I put a wireless on somebody, especially if they're going to walk me around and show me things. That way I don't have to be right with them all the time, so I can pick up the sound. They can be across the room, show me something, and I can still pick it up.
How it developed.
It blew the fence out. You can see where it's burned. This entire thing is burned.
She then gave me a full tour. The lightning spread inside the house, tearing apart this door and bending the deadbolt.
Different approach there. I mean, he's on a tour with this lady whose house was struck by lightning, tree, you know, ruined her electrical system, you know, a lot of damage. So he's on a tour with her. So she's, you know, wow, look at this, look at this. And he's kind of close, and he's you know, he's following along. I think any kind of story, you know, you can take both approaches. You know, you kind of need a wide shot that's on tripod, but then, you know, if you're trying to use your tripod and someone's going to show you something, you can miss a lot because you think, okay, it's got to be steady and I have to be here. Sometimes you need to be right there, and the closer you are, the better you can react. I mean, if you're over here on the computer with him, and he's, you know, he's going to show you something, it's much easier just to go like this, or like this. If he's saying something, it's, you know, the reaction is almost instantaneous, as opposed to being back here on a tripod, and he's saying something, and you go, oh, hang on, I got to touch that. You know, you're fumbling. Let me refocus. Let me get the shot right. It takes too long. Sometimes you need to be reacting. You need to be reacting better. And I like as when you're walking around with somebody, you know, maybe you get a nice wide shot, but you're also, you know, you're following along with them kind of close, and so you're walking with them. The viewer is there as she's explaining. It's like, you know, all the viewers at home are standing right with that woman as she's saying, wow, look at this, and this tree, and, you know, you look at the tree and come down. I mean, you know, I think that's a good approach too, as long as you're close. You have to be close. You can't be across the street as she's giving you a tour of this house, because it won't work. You know, it'll be shaky. Yeah.
I had a story kind of like that on Friday. I did Good Friday, and they walked through this neighborhood and all this, and I remember coming back and looking at my video, and it was so shaky. What do you do if, I mean, they're on their religious tour. I'm not going to stop them in the middle of they're praying the rosary and stuff. You know, I'm not going to stop their prayers. So what do you do to kind of like make it less shaky?
It was a group tour, and were they moving pretty fast? Or
they weren't moving like fast, but they were walking, you know, on sidewalks and roads, and you know, they were steadily walking, and I was trying to follow them.
It took a long time. It was this, yeah. You kind of have to make your choice. I mean, if they're not stopping, you know, at some point they might be stopping, but you have no control there. I mean, you're sort of a tag along, and so you just kind of have to get what you think is good, and then, you know, and then pick and choose, and, you know, for a little while you're next to the tour guide, and if the tour guide is talking, maybe you put a mic on them so that you can pick up their sound, and then kind of think, okay, that's kind of an interesting thing they've said. So you organize your shoot. Maybe you shoot the tour guide first, and you think, okay, I need some people listening. So then for a little while you shoot some people listening, staying close, but you get faces of people listening, and then you get a couple of shots of them moving around, you know, so that, and then you get some shots of what they're looking at as cutaways.